All right, starting volume 4. Here we have the Moroccan red quartz. We only had a couple pieces left in the store, but I found it a very interesting material. This is from Morocco. I call it dragonfire quartz. It's the hematite growing throughout the quartz crystal, giving it the red tones and that kind of irony look. A little crystal right there. Of course, the best one's right here. You can see the core of it. It's pretty cool. So this is in the family of the hematoid quartz. This is from Brazil. So the iron is growing throughout the quartz, which interesting enough that in rose quartz, it's also iron that gives the pink color. But the mineral is so finely dispersed throughout the quartz, it gives it that pink tone. Here you have literal veins of the red, the hematite growing throughout it. So overall, it's a nice, gentle grounding stone, as any mineral that's in quartz helps to amplify the effects. Good for the blood flow and flow in general. So I find it very helpful for women in general during that cycle of the month, because if you don't have good flow, and it could be flow in anything, but we find because it's an iron mineral, the flow is good for the physical body. Here you have an interesting look at that color. It's like a layer inside. You can see it right there. So at an angle, it turns more red. So it's helping with the physical flow and the stabilization and the movement of energy, especially around the sacral chakra. Lightly grounding. A good calming stone as well. Good for anemia and helping to create that hemoglobin within the body and the blood cells. So these ones are from Madagascar. They're really rich. These ones, for me, are like the prettiest. So they're more intense because they have a lot more iron growing through them. But here you got little rainbows in them, nice palm stones, Madagascar, hematoid. Lots of different patterns and movement. Also a fiery energy. So if you need some fire under your butt and get things moving, similar to how carnelian can affect, but the iron in this is going to be definitely adding more of that calm within the feet, within the lower calves, getting good blood flow throughout the body. Here we have a nice sphere. You can see all those nice little rainbows in there. I personally really like this stone. We do have a little bit of variety of these in the store. It's not always a constant, so hopefully we'll have some if you're interested. And then these are a new variety from India. Just more of a kind of a yellowish tone of the iron running through the quartz. Almost more like golden healer kind of variety. And then moving next to a similar stone that also has iron in it, called the Angel Phantom quartz from Brazil. A little harder to get and find. Usually things coming out of Brazil tend to be a little bit more expensive in general, but the quality is always exceptional. So here you can see the natural edges. And the Angel Phantom is named because of exactly that, what you see. these little wisps of hairs of minerals growing within it. One of them, of course, being the iron, another one being lithium. The other name for this is called amphibole, which is in the asbestos family. But don't worry, this won't harm you. Although I wouldn't put it in water, just in case. Now, this is a calming energy. It does have that lithium, has that iron. It has a movement of inspiration and kind of some artistic qualities to it because of all these different layers and the movement within it. And as any stone in quartz, it's multi-mineral. It's also going to be multi-vitamin, so to speak, for your body. Anytime you're working with a stone that has more than one mineral, it's going to be very helpful to the support to your immune system, to your mental body, to your spiritual body, to the aura, to feeding all the chakras, because your aura is fed by your chakras. So if your chakras are in a off alignment or working out of harmony, then your aura is not going to be fed as well, and so you could have fatigue as some symptoms. You could feel overwhelmed sometimes. You could have symptoms of sickness. So these are all things to take into consideration. So the more crystals you have, the more mineral you got, the more you can work with and feed and support the body. So that's the amphibole. All right, moving on to the jasper family. So next we are going into the jasper family. There's a lot of jaspers to see, a lot of varieties. So I'm going to go into the red jaspers first. It's found like pretty much, like all over the world. It's in the chalcedony cryptocrystalline quartz family with different impurities and other trace elements that give the different color spectrums. So in this particular one, it's more called braciated. Braciated just means that it's a more chunky type, broken type of jasper. So anytime you can see different layers and patterns versus pure red jasper, which also iron is another element that gives a lot of the red colors and tones throughout the red jasper as well. We have some from China, some from India, some from Pakistan, and some from Brazil. I love the slabs though, because there's many interesting little facets of color and movements in it. So in this one you can see a little bit of the hematite up in the corner. Beautiful yellows. Overall, red jasper has to do with kundalini, with fire, with connection to kind of softer earth frequencies. Being the iron, it is definitely going to be connecting with the root chakra, balancing that out, but also that softness of the feel, but also the fieriness of it is very earth connecting, but allowing movement when you need it. Having that fire there for drawing upon, for movement, for action, and to get things moving is important when you need it. It's like having your own batteries. Crystals are great to have as your batteries of energy. When you're feeling a little sluggish, put some stones in your pocket and they're your little uplifters to get things going, especially in the garnet family, the carnelian and the red jasper family. And in general, I find the jaspers to be all about different personalities. Here you got some little baby tumbles. This is the pure red jasper, and then some braciated jasper. Alright, so red jasper, we have a lot of varieties of that. And then, because jaspers move in many different colors, I'll kind of stick with the braciated forms. Let's see here. So this is another type of braciated jasper, but it's just, this is from India. Kind of like the Pakistan piece in red form, but here you just have all the yellows and sandy colors. And each color spectrum is going to be a good guideline as far as where it might work in as far as the chakras. So with these and the yellow tones and these brown tones could connect with a little bit of the solar plexus because of that yellow tone and the earthiness. So it could be a little bit more of also root chakra because of that earth connection. Anytime I see these earth tones of the sandies and the tans, it kind of reminds you of the desert regions and the sand plains and digging in the dirt at the beach, for instance. This is a special one from Indonesia. This is called moligano. So anything from Indonesia, one, it's going to be a little bit more expensive just because the shipping and coming across the world to us definitely adds a little bit to the price. And the rarity coming from Indonesia too. But here you have so much pattern, so many creative inspirations of movement within the braciated forms. Let's see if I can change the light here. Do a balance. That worked a little bit better. It's like a concretion, so there's a lot of movement, a lot of patterns, helping you to assimilate the material around you, to assimilate and create something out of little bits and pieces, to be resourceful, to see what's around you and to use what's available is what I get about moligano. Now these ones are also from Indonesia. These are such cute little guys, or I should say little girls. The nice little pink tone of color. These ones we're calling porcelain jasper. They're little like mini eggs. There's a sweetness, there's a softness, there's a playfulness with these, part to do with the shape and the size. I feel like they're just like little baby chicken eggs or something. Not chicken eggs, but like a partridge or something, like little bird eggs. Just so cute. So again, as you'll find through the jaspers of so many different colors and spectrums, that they tend to reflect a personality in and of themselves, but also reflecting that personality of what you might be gravitated to. I find that some people, the jaspers that they pick up and are guided to, are like a reflection of them and what they're going through. So here we have a very interesting walnut jasper. Kind of reminds us of a walnut shell, but also like sand dunes and layers of a mountain, but a very beautiful, distinct tan color. A lot of patterns. So anything with patterns and a playfulness of movement is very inspiring to the creative aspects. And when someone has a lot of personality and moving in different directions, this kind of reminds me of that as well. And then you have your Utah picture jasper. Now these ones definitely remind us of desert scenes. Sometimes you'll find layers of mountains or like the old desert streams if you were looking at it from the, satellites. Definitely earth tones we're working with here. And to take into account the colors of crystals, yes, you're going to have a generality of where they work with you in the body and the chakras, but also a relationship of where those colors come from in the planet and what we see them as, and having that connection with that region. So like obviously your sand dunes and that feeling the sand in your hand and the looseness and the softness that it can create. This one's kind of fun. This is called spider web jasper. Having a lot of these lines moving all about, making connections. Kind of abstract artwork. Now remember, all the jaspers are in that cryptocrystalline makeup of the chalcedony family. And different trace elements are going to give the different jaspers their colors, their different tones from where they're growing from and layered within the rock. So I find this one just a personality of connections, of travel, of moving in different places and meeting up and making patterns of connections with people and places. Let's see here. Then we have Mookite. Mookite jasper, not to get confused with polychrome jasper, which this comes from Australia, and polychrome jasper comes from Madagascar. Here you have like just these beautiful yellows with the red tones. So it's definitely working with your lower chakra system. A lot of creativity, a lot of movement around sexuality, a lot of inspiration with ideas and things you see. Finishing the Mookite. Wanted to show one more piece of the braciated jasper, also from Pakistan. It's like, I don't know, like a movie. There's all this stuff going on. A lot of story. It's like looking down from the planet onto the Earth's crust. Riverways and little islands and all kinds of interesting little things going on. So next we have ocean jasper, one of the most sought after and recognized types of jaspers. And its main identifier are these little round kind of orbs within it. And true ocean jasper let's pause. Okay, yeah, I just needed to check on something. So, ocean jasper is found in many parts of the world, and I was thinking they also call it orbicular jasper because of the orbs that are present within it. Let's find another example. Let's see. I think here's a really cute one. This is a tumbled one, so it's just all tons of little beads, little orbs. Predominantly, some of the main locations are some in the United States, for instance, like Nebraska and Arizona. And then a lot definitely comes from Madagascar. Sometimes they're little bits of sparkly because it is a chalcedony druze jasper combination. Anytime you see the sparkles is part of that druzy chalcedony matrix. There's a lot of personality within these, really fun.